What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, they just re-aired the Mayweather Guerrero fight as well as the Ponce de Leon versus Abner Mars fight. I thoroughly enjoyed them the first go around. I definitely watched them yesterday just to refresh my memory. It's always good to get a second look, and I've done this previously. I don't when I watch it live. It's kind of hard for me to for the big fights for me to just really sit down and score it because I'm just caught up in the moment and I just want to see a good fight. I want to pay attention. Don't want to miss things. So what I usually do is come back after the fight and I can give you a more comprehensive breakdown as to what has taken place in that previous fight. Some people, because I've been talking about Floyd Mayweather on some recent videos, some people are gonna call me a Flomo. Go for it. I really don't give a fuck. I'm a grown man, so things like that have no effect on me. Um, Aside from that, like I said, I don't have to justify it, but if you watch the channel, you know this is something I do. Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provodnikov. I did a post-fight video immediately after the fight, as well as I watched it again. I usually DVR the fights. I watched it again and gave a more comprehensive breakdown with the actual scorecard. Also did it for Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado, the rematch. Um, did an immediate video, and then I did a follow-up video where I was able to just sit down and enjoy it because, again, these are exciting fights. These are big fights on big platforms. I usually have a drink or I'm with friends for these big fights. So sometimes I just like to sit down, not really pay attention to the commentary, and then just re-watch them, see if I missed anything, and not be caught up in the moment. So that's what I did with this fight. Um, Again, I re-enjoyed them because I enjoyed them the first time. So with this fight, Guerrero Mayweather, Guerrero looked a lot sharper and crisper in the early rounds. Would you give him those rounds? I don't really know. I don't know that he did enough to win. If you watch rounds 1, 2, and 3, he looked comfortable. He looked very composed, and he looked hungry and determined. But he was still missing a lot. Again, there are some of his best rounds, but I can't give him. I wouldn't give him all three of those rounds. So let's get into this reassessment. So as far as the first 3 rounds, Robert Guerrero looked very composed. He looked determined. He looked hungry, and there were some of his best rounds, probably the best rounds that he had throughout the fight. Would you give him the first 3 rounds? I can't honestly argue for that. Maybe you give him some of those rounds, maybe one, maybe two, maybe none. He did look better, but sometimes in fights with Mayweather, we've seen him fight for 16, 17 years, and I think some people vote and fight and score based on what they're used to. And this happened specifically in the Cotto fight. Floyd Mayweather knows he had a bloody nose, and a lot of people were giving Cotto a lot more rounds than he probably should have based on that fact. But you have to watch the round in its entirety and determine who's winning and what's actually happening. So just because Mayweather got a bloody nose and you're not used to seeing that, that does not mean that the person wins the rounds. It's boxing. Just let you know what level Mayweather's on defensively to the point where he gets a bloody nose and some people automatically give Cotto those rounds. But the first 3 rounds with Robert Guerrero, they were definitely filler rounds for Floyd. They were Guerrero's better rounds, and they were far more competitive. And I think Floyd was basically computing data and really trying to get Robert Guerrero's timing and habits down. So that's pretty much what happened in the first round or two. Round 2, at the very end, if you watched it, he knocked the spit out of Robert Guerrero. You look at his mouthpiece right before the bell rang, and there's like dribble coming down Guerrero's mouth. Round 3, this is where Floyd Mayweather started to put some of that data that he collected into use. He's popping the jab, throwing straight rights, and he introduced some lateral movement. Round 4, Guerrero landed a really good left hand, probably his best punch maybe of the fight. Definitely in the top 3 best punches that he threw or landed. But the problem is Mayweather didn't allow him to have too much shine because he responded very quickly with the straight right that rocked Guerrero's head back viciously as if he had whiplash. And then this is the round where, to me, Guerrero started to appear gun shy. He looked hesitant. The hand speed that Floyd had was bothering him, and he had Floyd against the ropes briefly, and he tried to let his hands go, but Floyd was not absorbing most of those shots flush, and he was sneaking in like body shots and punches, so he was still on the ropes, and Guerrero didn't really capitalize. Round 5, Mayweather's pot shotting, stands flat-footed, in front of Guerrero with little to no movement. And it's funny because some of you guys just listen to commentators or Ruben Guerrero. He's a chicken. He ran like a chicken. But you guys can't support it. I'm giving you actual rounds and approximate time frame. So watch round 5, approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds to the end of the round. Mayweather is directly in front of Guerrero, and Guerrero is not doing enough to win the round at all. So he's like, oh, I thought it was toe to toe. Why would Mayweather stay any one position or any one style through the duration of the fight or the duration of a round? But I mean, there's large chunks of it where he's fighting toe to toe, and Guerrero still didn't capitalize. Round 6, it started off a really decent round, good round for Guerrero. He shows that he was still in it, he was still being competitive. But towards the end of the round, Mayweather took away all of that shine, that early shine, with accurate time shots, and he outlanded Guerrero. 47% of total shots landed to Guerrero's 15%. I mean, that's embarrassing. 47 to 15%. Round 7, Guerrero tried. It looked like he was trying to do something different. So he tried to do the Berto tactic. And by Berto tactic, I mean what he did with Berto by getting in real close, smothering him, roughing him up with punches. But if you watch, Mayweather responded a lot different than Guerrero, or excuse me, than Berto. Mayweather protected his body very well. He had his elbows low, so Guerrero couldn't just hold and do those rough up shots that Berto was just allowing. And Mayweather introduced a little bit of body shots in this round. Round 8, Mayweather circling Guerrero. He's picking him off, tagging him, landing shots. And this is the first round where Guerrero's confidence looks like it's apparently gone. And Guerrero looks scared to me through this round. And this is the round where Mayweather started doing what I expected him to do a lot more of throughout this whole fight. And that's when he started unleashing that Zab Judah-esque body shots. He was throwing the straight right to the body, and every time Guerrero kept like hunching down. It reminds me of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. There's a character, I think it was a fat character, one of the early characters, and he has a piece of tape and an X on his belly button or holding his shorts up. And if you keep punching there, his shorts would fall down. And that's what it was looking like when Mayweather was attacking the body. He just kept shooting that punch. And this is the round where it looked like Guerrero was going to get stopped. He was taking some punishment. His eye was leaking. Even Guerrero's wife, Casey, they show her on camera, and she's yelling, "Come on." It looks like she's about to cry. And this is when the crowd started booing. And the crowd, the people booing are just idiots. Like the first 3 rounds when Guerrero was like confident, there was a lot of excitement in the crowd. But then by round 8, when Mayweather's taking over, they start booing. But, I mean, you can't blame Guerrero. Mayweather's taking him out of his element and outclassing him. So round 9, I liked how Guerrero came back out after almost getting stopped in round 8. He showed that he was still in it. He came to fight. He was aggressive. And that's a good thing based on the previous round. But I still can't give him the round because Mayweather was far more accurate and he landed the harder shots. Round 10, Guerrero was getting tagged. At the 2 minute and 30-second mark, Guerrero was getting tagged. And it appears to me that Guerrero tried to switch his game plan. He started backing up, and it looked like he was trying to make Floyd Mayweather the aggressor so he could counter, and he was still getting tagged. So if you're a diehard boxing fan, you will appreciate this. So look at the previous 3 rounds or so. Guerrero tried various things. He was trying the Berto smothering technique all the way to this round, round 10, where he was trying to make Mayweather take the lead, and he was just countering and trying to counter. But the thing that makes Mayweather a great, smart fighter is no matter what Guerrero's game plan was, he was beating him. If they were fighting on the inside, he was beating him. If he was fighting on the outside, he was beating him. If they're fighting in the center of the ring, he was beating him. If he was fighting against the ropes, he was beating him. So that's very impressive if you really watch the sport of boxing, to see that how can you be such a complete fighter to the point where you're besting somebody with these different game plans. Again, in this round, Guerrero looked like he was trying to be more of the counterpuncher and make Floyd take the lead, but Floyd, as the aggressor, was still landing the better, harder shots, more accurate shots, or when Floyd was countering, he was landing the better shots. Round 11, before the round started, Floyd complained that his hand was hurting, And repeatedly, around the 1 minute and 20-second mark, he was throwing a sweeping right and fighting toe to toe, squared up. Again, Robert Guerrero was not letting his hands go, and it's impressive to me. A lot of people complain, oh, he didn't go for a knockout. You're stupid. His hands hurt. Um, he's supposed to fight in September. Why would you risk breaking your hand in order to try to please the crowd with a knockout or whatever? Um, and again, he was still throwing hard bombs like the sweeping right in round 11 after he just complained that his hand was hurt. Round 12, this was probably the lightest round for Mayweather. He just showed movement. It looked like maybe his hand was bothering him. But he was still landing accurate shots. And then the time expired and the fight was over. So, the people who are saying he ran, you guys clearly don't know what you're talking about. He was large chunks of the fight. I'm giving you rounds and approximate times in which he was standing toe to toe. And Guerrero just couldn't do nothing with him. It is what it is. And some of you guys, I don't know, maybe it's just boxing or you don't watch other sports, but you can liken some of what you see in boxing to other sports because other sports employ similar strategies. So in baseball, if there's a pitcher, Randy Johnson, let's say, and he's going against the Cubs or some shit, and he's throwing a fastball that nobody can hit, do you blame Randy Johnson because he's striking everyone out? No, you're impressed by that. And why would Randy Johnson go to a different game plan if he's capable of throwing the same pitch repeatedly and the team can't adjust, the Cubs can't adjust to hit the ball? Why is he going to just say, oh, for the fans' sake, let me throw a slow ball that everybody can hit and possibly get a home run and tie the game? You don't. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. It makes absolutely no sense for one to do that. If you're doing something that's working, then it's your opponent's opportunity or their job to make the necessary adjustments. As far as the risk factor, oh, why didn't he go for the knockout? Or why in boxing, if you're clearly dominating your opponent for the fan's sake or for anyone's sake, it's still your health at risk. Same thing with Sergio Martinez versus Chavez Jr. If he would have got knocked out in the 12th round and to the point where he couldn't get back up, how dumb does Sergio Martinez look that he was dominating for 11 and a half rounds, but he got too machismo, he got too careless, and then he got slept in the 12th round? That would be a waste of 11 and a half precious rounds. Mayweather's smarter than that, so people fault him for not taking unnecessary risks when he's clearly winning. That's how people get knocked out. If you watch like Amir Khan's and Manny Pacquiao's and stuff like that, they're entertaining fighters like Pacquiao, but they don't fight smart a lot of times. Pacquiao was clearly, in my eyes, he was clearly winning rounds 5 and round 6 against Marquez in their last fight. And with less than 10 seconds left, you get knocked out because you get careless. That's stupid. Why would Mayweather take unnecessary gambles when he clearly has the fight secured? And obviously Robert Guerrero is determined, wants to win, wants to beat Floyd Mayweather. Why would he make it easier for him to do that or to get knocked out or get knocked down? It's just like if you watch football and your team is the New York Giants and they're beating another team by 14 points, 2 touchdowns, right? And it's the fourth quarter. If it's 4th and 1, or sometimes it's even 4th and inches, depending on the field position, they'll punt the ball. They might punt the ball, or they'll go for their points. They'll go for the guaranteed points, take a field goal. But the reason they punt the ball is because football is a game of strategy, very similar to boxing. So even though they might have a great running back who's more than capable of getting them the inch that they need or the 1 yard that they need to get a fresh set of downs, why on earth would you take the gamble and not punt the ball? And if you turn over downs, you're going to give the opposing team great field position and the opportunity to score and then make it a 1-score game, a 1-possession game. It makes no sense. So back to boxing, if Mayweather's clearly dominating, he showed us the right landed from all kinds of angles. He's clearly winning every single round, basically. Why would he take an unnecessary gamble for the fans' sake or for anybody's sake to make it easier for Robert Guerrero to land something devastating to put him in a dogfight type of position. That's stupid. Again, football, that's a great example I just gave you guys. If it's 4th and inches, if it's 4th and 1, the coach may decide we got to punt the ball, or they may decide to just take the points, just depending on how, if they're in field goal range or not. There's not that many teams in the league that go for it every time on 4th and 1 because they know this is a game of probability. It's a game of strategy. And why would you give your opponent that opportunity to rally for a comeback by giving them great field position? So again, I'm done schooling you guys. You guys take it for what it is. And that's really all I got to say. Look forward to some more great fights. And as always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.